So at this point, you should have already completed your poem using Google Docs. You should have checked your spelling and grammar. And once you've done that, you can start searching the internet for an image that you think best fits the poem. So I've finished my poem, and now I'm going to search the internet, and I decided to search for a sunset. I clicked on Google Images, and I found a sunset that works for me. The reason why I'm choosing this sunset is because the background is interesting, but also muted. It doesn't have a lot going on. We are going to be putting text on top of this image. If I use something like this that has a strong object in the middle of it, or here, it might be hard to show the text. Here I can use a light text and it will show. Here or here I might need to switch between black text and white text in order for it to show up on these bright or dark areas within the photograph. So I would find something that is interesting but at the same time muted and allows room for your text to sit. This image works. So I click on it. I go to Visit. Here is the image that I wanted to work with. I click on it so it's very large. It's a good quality image. And now I'm going to right-click, Save Image As. You can just save your artwork to the desktop today, or if you feel like you need to save it to the Downloads folder, you can. I created a folder on my desktop to save projects, so I'm saving it inside of that, and I am naming it Poem Photo, and I am pressing Save. Now that I have my poem photo saved, I am going to minimize and open up Photoshop. This is the icon for Photoshop. It should be located somewhere on your desktop. Find it, double click on it, and it will load. Once it loads, you need to open. So you're going to go to File, Open, and navigate to wherever it is that you saved your image. So you need to pay attention to where you saved it to. If your image is on the desktop, you go to the desktop. If your image is on the Downloads folder, you go to the Downloads folder. Again, I created a folder on my desktop called Computer Art Lessons, and I found my photo. Now I'm going to open it. As soon as I open it, I want to do a few things before I get the text or the poem into this project. I want to double click on my background layer to unlock it. This allows me to edit and change it later. I also want to create a new layer, so I'm going to go to the top of my screen, Layer, New Layer. I'm going to name this White Layer, and I am going to dump it white with my paint bucket. So here's my paint bucket. I'm looking at the top color in my color picker, and I want it to be white. Mine is. If for some reason yours is another color, like let's say red, you simply click on it and move it to white. So now that I have white and I have my paint bucket selected, I am going to click once and create a white layer. This is covering up my photo, so I'm going to drag the white layer below the photograph I just got off the internet. This image is too bright for the text. And every single image that you get off the internet, you do want to adjust the opacity. I'm going to put mine to 60%. Yours can be higher or lower than that, but everybody should have a lower opacity than 100 for the photograph that they got off the internet. This allows the text to be easy to read. I'm going to go back to Google. I should have my poem open, and I am going to do Control-A on my keyboard, which selects all. Now I'm doing Control-C to copy. If you're not sure how to do that, you could edit, copy this way. Now that I've had this copied into my clipboard, I'm going to go back to Photoshop, and I need to find the text tool. I want to make sure that the horizontal text is selected. In order to see that, I just simply press and hold my mouse on top of the T for type. As long as horizontal type tool is selected, which it is, I can now click and drag my text box to go over the area that I want to work with. Then I simply do Control V on my keyboard, or I could come up and do Edit Paste, again Control V. I have my type or text inside of my text box. If I would like to change the size or the font, I do Select All, which is Control A, and over here I can pick a different font. Don't pick something that you think is cool or fun. Find a font that is easy to read and matches the words within your poem. So I believe that this is a good font for my poem. I don't want it to be bold. I want it to be regular. The font, I can change the size. That's 10 point. This is 48. I can change the size. Once I have figured out what I want and I am happy with it, I'm going to click over here on the Move tool, and this allows me to move my my poem where I want within my artwork. I'm going to create another text box up here, and this is where I will write the title to my poem. Again, I can highlight this. Maybe I want this to be bold because it's my title. Maybe I want it to be larger. Maybe I want it to be on the left side or centered. And then again, I can move this title by clicking on the Move tool, and it allows me to place it where I want. Black text will probably work best, or white text. You do not want to use pink or green. That's hard to read and it hurts the viewer's eye. If I wanted to change this to another color, I simply get my text tool highlighted. I click in the middle of a word, select all, and I go up to the top here and I change it to another color. Again, if you can use black, that would probably be the best. Over here is history. If you ever make a mistake, you can undo it in history and it allows you to go back. When you believe you have finished your project and it is the best it can be, I would save it twice. File, Save As, naming it what your teacher wants you to name it, and leave it as a Photoshop document. This allows you to edit later, meaning there's layers. The second time you save, you do a Save As again, and now you're going to change it from Photoshop to JPEG. You'll notice it says, uh-oh, layers. When I press Save, if I look over in my Layers menu, everything is saved as one layer, which means it's an image, and you will never be able to edit the text again. And I press OK. So again, you want to save as a PSD with layers, and then again as a JPEG.